Om Sri Sai Ram. Bhaj Govindam. Bhaj Govindam. Govindam Bhaj Mudhamate. Govindam Bhaj Mudhamate. Om Sri Sai Ram. Swami often sang this song during his divine discourses to remind us that all your knowledge, your so called intellectual abilities, your scholarships, your attainment of reciting Vedas, Puranas, memorizing each and every shlok of Bhagavad Gita, analyzing it from different angle again and again is of no use. This will not take you anywhere. Too much analysis leads to paralysis. Who could be greater exponent of Vedas? Who could be greater intellectual than Adi Shankara? Yet, after going through all over the country and having the debates with the best of scholars of those times, he came to this conclusion: Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate. Leave away all these your argumentative natures that we acquired. Just recite his name, remember him with love. Enough. When you go to buy a car, we just go select the car depending upon our financial capacity, the utility, and the parameters of the car, how much fuel consumption, what is output, input. That's all. Size of the wheel, what speed it can pick up. Everything, just few things. We don't go into the details of making of the car, every mechanical, electronic part of it, every computerized chips put into it. The salesman, the manager, or a technical person of the department who is selling that car will tell you the few fundamental things, how to drive it and maintain it without any fuss. Then you go and drive. If you know to drive, you will just drive and enjoy. And if anything small things happens, you should know how to tackle it. If some serious thing happens, then alone you go to the garage. You have a warranty card. When we go to doctor, we just tell him our problem, all the description of what we feel emotionally, mentally, physically. What we call disease. Swami says disease is want of ease. We feel unease at physical plane, mental plane, emotional plane, but we forget unless we water the roots. Simply watering the leaves and flowers can bring little shine for some time, but it will not give nourishment to the entire tree and the fruits and the flowers. We have to water the roots. Even to have good flowers in the garden, you should know the basic things. You don't go to analyze each and every gadget that you buy or every medicine you take from a doctor, sir, what this medicine is composed of. You will not know, and maybe probably even today's doctors will not know. They also know, they have studied what this going to be effect and how much dose to take, what are the side effects. They know that thing only. Very few do high studies, they go deep into it. But they don't open their shop for prescriptions or curing. They are good at laboratories, PhDs. They are the analytics person. They let them do their job. We should be concerned about the fundamentals of the game. If we don't know the fundamentals of the game and we just play the game without knowing the fundas, it is like a street boy playing cricket for the first time, or maybe he is playing every day and hitting sixes here and then without knowing the game. So everybody will applaud and they say, wow, beautiful. But the person who is actually playing will not actually enjoy that success because he doesn't know how it went six. Whereas a cricketer like, say, Sachin Tendulkar, even if he is out for duck for even 3 consecutive matches, nobody would say that he doesn't know the game. Of course, he is the master. So knowing fundamental is more important than hitting a six. After knowing the fundamentals, if you hit a six, it gives joys to the spectators and it gives you more confidence to the player because you know the technique. You have mastered the technique. It is not a fluke shot. Most of our successes are fluke successes. It's a fact. If we introspect each one of us, most of our successes in worldly life are fluke successes because we do not know the fundas of life, of this game of this life. And Swami says there are some few fundamentals that you need to know to lead this life. And he has given that list very simple. The purpose of this creation is to love and to be loved. Simple. As simple as that. There is no other purpose. We all are essentially and equally divine. Essentially and equally and truly divine. We have been gifted with this human body, human mind, human intelligence, human emotions to play our assigned role play. The direction, the script, the story, the dialogue, the entry, the exit, the costume, the camera, the action, the reaction, everything is decided, scripted and directed by him. And he is neither distinct nor distant from us. He is our own highest, best, truest self. We should know how to deal with divinity directly. When a child wants to deal with his father or mother, he doesn't take help of any outsider for that matter. Swami says you talk about doing meditations. I remember during 80s, Sri Indulal Shah, he was very keen to bring meditation as part of our bhajan sessions all over the world. So he suggested in his introductory talk to Swami that Swami, if you bless us after bhajans, we should have 10-15 minutes meditation. We should teach them meditation because he used to practice meditation. So he thought that it was a good idea. Every normal person would think, yes, meditation is very good. But Swami he goes beyond. That is why he is avatar. He is not a saint to give this prescription and that he will give you direct. He asked the simple thing to Indulal Shah, to all of us in his discourse. He said, you say you want to meditate on God. What is the instrument of your meditation? The mind, kada? A mindless person cannot meditate. So the instrument with which you want to meditate upon your highest, noblest and truest self, the Atmic self, the God self, the divine self is mind. Swami said it is like taking help of the neighbor who has stolen your money and you are going to him in the morning to take his help to find the thief. He himself is the thief. He will take you everywhere, to police station, to this person, he will suggest you so many clues. He will even take leave from his office to prove that he is concerned about your loss, and he will sympathize with you and he will do every trick of the trade to keep you away from his house, from the place where he has hidden your money. Swami said, mind is the thief, and you are taking the help of the thief to catch the thief. Meditation is to go beyond the mind, deal directly with divine. Don't go via mind. Mind is given to you, of course, it has got its own importance. Mind is given to us, the intelligence is given to us, the power of discrimination is given to us to deal with the worldly matters, to play our role play. We should discriminate while playing the role that we are assigned. As I mentioned many times, Swami has mentioned that all the ladies in our house may be mother, sister, wife, maid servant, and daughter. All are ladies, the females. But we don't treat mother as daughter and daughter as mother. First common sense, next divine sense. So while playing our role play, we have to use all these because we are humans to play human. Be human, behave human. Whatever else we may or may not claim to be, no one can deny that we all are humans. We may not talk about God or do not understand or accept the divinity part of it or soul part of it. We may not, okay, but who can deny that we all are humans? And Swami says, as gold without golden values is unthinkable, so also human without human values is unacceptable. So simple. So while playing the role which you are assigned as a father, as a son, as a boss, as a subordinate, we play so many different roles in one day, isn't it? There we have to apply our common sense, our mind, our discrimination, everything, all the instruments, because we are performing the role which actually we know we are not, we should know. It is like, as I mentioned so many times, the hero playing the role of Salim or Devdas. He has to apply his mind, he has to apply everything, all his senses, the body language, the eyes, the hands, the dialogue delivery, everything he has to take into account. How he enters, how he delivers the dialogue, how he looks through his eyes, everything is to be taken care of. Because he is neither Salim nor Devdas, he has to play the role, so he has to perform it using all the instrument that are with him, that God has gifted him with. But in reality, he knows what he is. To play his real role, he doesn't apply. When the hero comes to his own house and he behaves like Dilip Kumar or Yusuf Khan, that time he will not think of body language or dialogue delivery or eye contact, nothing. He will simply come naturally and talk and behave as he is. So simply like that, when we deal with divinity, we don't have to take help of our mind. We don't meditate upon our father or our husband or our wife or our children. We directly love them. That's it. Love them. Take care of them. Don't meditate on them. On the contrary, we have to meditate upon worldly affairs, how we have to plan, what we should speak. Swami says, ask 3 fundamental questions before taking any decision. Is it good or bad? Is it right or wrong? The third, the most important, is it necessary or unnecessary? Before indulging into any action or even reaction, if you wait and introspect or even meditate, contemplate on these 3 issues, then we will not do mistake. But when we want to deal with God, the divinity, our own highest self, then we don't need help of our mind and your intelligence, nothing. On the contrary, they will be hindrances because they will lose their importance. Mind will never take you to God unless you saturate it with so much love for God that it cannot but love God. And God is, in His wisdom, has created He is the creator of our mind. He is the master maker, unmaker, and remaker of every human mind. He has made it in such a way that our mind can never get what we call peace of mind unless it is given the test of the divinity of love of God. You take him to this country, to that country, to this picnic, to that drink, to this woman, to that person, to this person. It will again come back to, because God has made it like that. He knew it will not get peace, the peace that passeth understanding. That bliss, that joy it will get only when it surrenders, when the river merges with the ocean. Then it will get fulfillment. But we have to deal with our highest self, our truest self, directly. For that we don't need anything, any analysis, nothing. Simple, Swami has said. Stop judging, start loving. Stop blaming, start loving. If there is any blame game going on between two persons, shift the entire blame to yourself, entire, not 99%, nothing. Swami knows. Shift the entire blame upon yourself and then forgive yourself. Forgiving our own self is so simple. Forgiving others is the most difficult task. So Swami said, to stop this blame game, shift the blame upon yourself and forgive yourself. Let go, let God. After all, it is a role play. He decides, he directs. It is his game, not our game. Be sure this entire creation, this entire world, this Maya, whatever is going on, plus, minus, whatever, good, bad, ugly, it is his game. Who created? None of us. We never even decided our parents. We never decided place and time of our birth. We cannot decide place and time of our death, which is certain. So why this in between, this arrogance? This is stupidity actually. I don't call it even arrogance. This is sheer stupidity. Just introspect and you will know that this is nothing. It is foolishness. That is why Swami said good people suffer not because of their goodness, but because of their foolishness. We are foolish in dealing in this world. And we are equally foolish dealing with God also. Because we do the opposite. With world, we don't apply your brains or discrimination properly. And in matters of God, we bring all our science, logic, rationality, everything in forefront. God is to be dealt for this. World be from here. The mind is for the world. Heart is for the God. Chitta chora, Yashoda ke maan. Chitta chora. Navanita chora. Gopal, Navanita, butter. He wants butter of our life, our thoughts, our feelings. Love him directly. No need to meditate upon him. Meditate upon. People ask me, sir, your talks are so enlightening. You meditate, you read, you prepare. I say, nothing. Why should I? When you internalize his love, then you don't have to memorize his speeches or his discourses. You have to internalize it and live it and love it, not memorize it and prepare it and then talk like a parrot. No need. If you ask me to talk about my father, I will not go and memorize his talks, his descriptions or discourses. No. I lived with him. I love him. I know what he is. Spontaneous, natural. Because we don't internalize, so we have to memorize. And I don't meditate. Meditation is trying to focus your mind on God. The difficulty with me is I love him so much that sometimes I have to struggle to forget him. And he is such, if you love him this much, believe me, he will rush like anything. He will not leave you. He will chase you, in fact. Moment I drive car alone, he will be sitting next to me. He said, I can't trust you alone driving the car. He will not leave me alone even in my washroom, when I'm taking bath. Most of his divine revelations he gives while I'm taking bath. He's so intimate, he's so personal. He becomes personal to make us feel comfortable that he's not a distinct or distant from us. That is the beauty of the avatar. That is why I told Swami, I am not interested in that God. That God was there even before 23rd of November 1926. This avatar comes in, believe me, brothers and sisters, in millions and millions and millions of lifetimes. Deal with him directly, love him directly. No questioning, no analysis, nothing doing. How can you analyze love, yaar? Love itself is enlightening. Love is self effulgent. Who can show light to the sun god? Love is that light. Every other power, Swami says, is a blind power. Be it political power, executive power, family, head of the family power, husband power, wife power, authority power, degree power, youth power, this power, that power. Everything is blind. It is blind leading the blind. Nobody actually knows what they are going to lose and what they are going to find. It is all blind leading the blind. There is only one power, the power of love, which is not blind. Not only that, this is the only power that actually enlightens. It doesn't blind us, it enlightens us. It brightens our mind, it lightens our mind. And He is available all the time. Our love, we have lost capacity to love. Let us be honest. We actually do not know what love is, true love is. If at all we have little loves that for our family and the property and whatever, this is what, suppose we call it love. Okay, this is like a frog living in the well. Beyond that, we cannot. We actually do not love even our own body self, our own mind self, our own intellectual self properly. That is why you develop diseases. If we love our body self, mind self, intellectual self, humanity will be free from all the diseases. This is the therapy of love. Love heals, love cures, love cares. But our human mind, I said, like a thief, he will take you. All the classes will be conducted. You will go to YouTube and find hundreds of gurus available who will teach you 100 methods to meditate upon your own highest self. It is like somebody teaching you how to deal with your own father, your own wife. I remember one of the persons, he went to a guru and tell him that, sir, I'm in great trouble. You are not married, so you can talk big. But you do not know the condition we husbands are facing. He said, what happened? He said, every night I come from my office after doing days hard work. I am so tired. Sometimes I also stop at some friends or hotel to have little just to keep me stress free. But the moment I enter the house, she will not wait for me to go to my washroom or have my cup of tea or little food. She'll start nagging here. I love her. She is very good wife, but I just can't take it. And this is everyday affair. And I believe this is with everyone, most of our husbands. The Guru smiled. He said, what do you think are the options with you? Now this man, he said, your Guru is asking me the options. So he just introspected for one moment and he was, of course, very intelligent. He said, one option is I had to just swallow it, which I do. Second option is I had to ignore it, which is the blunder I do sometimes, and then I'm gone if I ignore her. Third is that I engage with her in some different manner. That also I tried trying to bring some gifts or something, but that also doesn't work always. I don't see any other option. The Guru said, I'll give you option, 100% guarantee success. He said, wow, please give me. Start Do you love your wife first? He asked. He said, yes, I love her, truly. There's no doubt on that. Does she also love you? Yes, yes, I believe she also loves me. Manchidi. So you have made the task very simple. You do one thing. From today, you start loving her nagging. You love her, isn't it? From today, you start loving her nagging. Don't take it just as a punishment. Don't ignore it. Don't try to bribe her. Don't try to make excuses. We all do this because we actually do not know how to love. He said, you just love her nagging. He said, really, seriously, are you serious? He said, yes. Initially, you try it as an experiment. After a few days, you will love to love it. Now, he had good faith in this Guru, so he tried this. After a few days, he came to Guru. He said, wow, sir, you have changed my life. I did this for 1 or 2 days as an experiment. From third day, I started actually loving it. Her nagging is so scientific, so rational, so to the point. In 2-3 minutes, she will, what we do not learn in our management classes, she knows what to question, where to stop, where to put comma. I really love, and not only love, I admire her. She is so beautiful, so intelligent. Wow, I didn't know it. It has revealed my love for her nagging, has revealed her inner qualities, her concern, and I found that it is her care and concern. She wants to bring out the best in me. Wow, I am so happy. This is the art of living. This is the art of loving. We don't need to adopt any analysis or techniques to deal with divinity. We can love anyone and everyone spontaneously. Love brings awareness, love brings understanding. We are doing again the opposite. First, we want to understand and then love. Kadu. Love. Love itself will do what it needs to do. Love we must, Swami says, love all, serve all. Let me bring little, because people try to misinterpret sometimes. Swami says, love all, serve all. He would never say trust all. You can love everybody equally. For trust, Swami says, God has given you two eyes, kada, TWO, trust with open eyes. Our God is wonderful God. Deal with Him directly, love Him, sing one bhajan for Him. Only one bhajan, 3 minutes, every day, 1-to-1. No videos, nothing, no audio, nothing, no radio sai that moment. They have their own beauty, they are heavenly. But this 1-to-1 doesn't need any melody, nothing. Just natural, spontaneous, one bhajan every day. And chant, as I mentioned in my previous talk, his Suprabhatam, which he has made short for us in these modern times, because we don't have time, we sleep off during Suprabhatam. Just one. Utishto Utishta Partisha, Utishta Jagatipati, Utishta Karuna Purna, Loka Mangala Siddhaye. Awaken divinity for what? To do good to all. Loka Mangala Siddhaye. Not for personal gain. For again I say, for that God has given us all that mind, intelligence, discrimination, common sense, everything for worldly matters. But when you want to deal with divinity, do something for divinity and do a spiritual seva. Swami says, social seva is show and social. Spiritual seva, everything is spiritual. Direct with divinity to please Him. Utishto Jagadish, Utishta Partipate, Utishta Karuna Purna. Fill your heart with compassion, with love, to do good of all. लोक मंगल सिद्धये समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु. From your heart, internalize it. Don't memorize it. Love Him, love Him, love Him. जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय.